What's going on, guys? You're watching Shieldbearer Faith, and thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that you will never have enough of if SHTF were to ever happen. And by you, I mean anybody. These items are something that you can never acquire too much of. Right off the bat, painkillers in some way. I do not like taking much of anything, but I do occasionally take ibuprofen, right? Aspirin, ibuprofen, Tylenol. Things like that are a huge luxury in our country today, and they are extremely helpful. Often we use them all the time. In American society, it's just part of living for most people to have some sort of mild painkiller. So you're just never going to have enough of them, okay? And their expiration is extremely long. So painkillers, okay, and minor ones. I'm not talking about, Oxycontin or something like that. I'm talking about like Tylenol. Totally useful forevermore. Next, sanitation materials. So hand sanitizer, soap, anything in that category. Even maybe some feminine hygiene items, maybe that would come into play. But sanitizing items are gonna be huge. That is something you can never have enough of. With our knowledge of germ spreading, bacteria, knowing what you know about the flu season every year, all that stuff is mitigated because we know how to reduce your exposure, right? So by having things like hand sanitizer that you can have on the go, ready to go with you, or having soap, or just, I'm gonna toss this in there too, antibiotic ointment in conjunction with that, it's a luxury that you will never have enough of that. Next, right off the back of that one, bandage material. So after you clean something, you need to make sure that it doesn't get injured. And if it does get injured, you need something to bandage it with. So whether it be Band-Aids, just standard Band-Aids, or some sort of, let's see if I can get the thing here, gauze material, right? Or some sort of rolled gauze, something like this, You're gonna need stuff like that eventually. I got bit by a dog not too long ago at work. See if y'all can see the scar right here. See if I can roll the picture in a second of what it looked like when it happened. That took an extensive amount of gauze. I had to change it frequently. I had to put antibiotics on it frequently. It's just amazing. That was not that severe of an injury, but it took a lot of material. So good takeaway there. Next, tape. Mainly in this case duct tape because of the versatility of it, but tape in general, right? So we're always using adhesives for a variety of things, but in a medical oriented field, yeah, it's still going to be needed, right? So whether it's applying a chest seal that's not self-adhering, taping that onto an area, duct tape's useful for that. Or whether you take a little strip of gauze because you've got a cut on your hand or your finger or something, and then you wrap it with a waterproof material like duct tape to keep it from getting any further exposure and mitigating your risk of infection. Totally useful, right? It's just, unlimited number of things you can use duct tape for. And then finally on my list, rubber gloves. And in case you haven't noticed, this list is primarily oriented around medical stuff. Rubber gloves though. So it's great that we can wash our hands and sanitize our hands, but it's even better when we can fully separate ourselves from whatever it is that's the danger. So give you an example. I think sometimes we forget how dirty the human body and the world can be. And I operate in a world where I see it a lot more often than I think most people do. When the Bible talks about that Jesus had his feet washed, I think we forget how dirty of a job that would have been at the time. I have seen what the human body can be like when it is not properly maintained, and it is fairly disgusting. Keep that in mind, right? So separate yourself as best you can, if you can, and you're never gonna have enough nitrile gloves. So that's my basic list. Like I said, obviously this one's more oriented around medical stuff Not an exhaustive list, but I hope it helps in some way. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you later.